I think that just opening the door for the actor to feel comfortable coming to them with any questions without feeling like they're a nuisance is very important. Especially like if it's something large. I mean, if it's a project like a film or anything. If I was ever directing, I would definitely want to tell the actor, like, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to talk to me. Like, if I'm busy, you know, I'll get back to you. But I would never want an actor to feel like they couldn't ask me a question or something. And, you know, I think that with some busyness or on the other token, you know, if an actor like has a billion questions, you know, the director shouldn't feel like they have to pause everything and get to them right away. It's like, you know, like, okay, if you have questions, let me know. We'll find a time to sit down and talk about it. Actors, as like a breed, like crave validation.
Right.
Like we need it, which is, I think, why we do it. But like you need to realize that when the director says action and you do the take and then they say cut and then you move on to the next shot, that means you did it. Like that means you did it right. And I think that for some actors, like they need to hear like, hey, that was great. You know. But I mean, if you
did you feel that way, like on set when I didn't say anything to you?
No, because I learned at that point, you know, it's like if when the director says cut, and you move on to a next shot, you got it.
Right.
Like they got what they were looking for.
But you didn't feel like exposed. You don't feel like you need the validation.
No. I mean, occasionally if there's like a really hard scene, you know, you want to make sure that. You want to make sure that you're giving the director what they're looking for. Because I think that in some projects, if people are pressed for time or if there's like a budget and it's like, you know, you're wasting money, wasting light. Sometimes I think that a director will move on past that take without getting what they really want. And I think that like for actors, there's so often there's that little fear of like, oh my God, did they get it? Did they get what they wanted? It's like, did they move on because it was good, or did they move on because we're losing light and I suck? So I mean, I think that for actors, there's always like that little, oh God, did they get it? But really, you kind of have to trust the director that like, all right, I hope they got what they wanted, you know. And I think that for directors, if a director doesn't get what they want, you know, like, tell the actor, like, I mean, yeah, directors, do not be worried about, like, hurting feelings. To tell them, be like, this is not working. This needs to change. Like, change something because I'm not getting what I'm looking for.
So when a director does say that, like, that never happened to us, but, like, if I did come to you and I said, like, Eva, this isn't working. Yeah. I know we talked about this beforehand, but right now it's not working. Yeah. Like, wouldn't that feel, like, jarring? Like, wouldn't that kind of, like, make you get in your head and worry and stuff?
Maybe, but half the time, the actor is, like, constantly thinking of 5,000 different things. So if the director is, like, if it's not working, the actor probably feels that it's not working, too. So if the director is like, you know, this isn't working, you know, the actor's probably going to be like, I know, I'm feeling that too. It's like, okay, what more are you looking for? You know, like, okay, let's try it this way instead. You know, let's just flip it on its head, you know, instead of trying to, you know, persuade this person, let's try forcing them, you know. Yeah. Because I think that half the time, either like in the scene and then watching the scene, the director and the actor are on the same page so often, but when they don't say anything, you don't really know. I always really like talking to like fellow actors about different director styles, because like some people, you know, and again, like everybody's different, you know, some people really like, you know, hands-on directors, you know, where it's like, this is the exact lineup, you know, and I've worked with directors like that, and then I've worked with directors that are like, this is what needs to happen in the scene. Go. I'll tell you if it doesn't work. And I think that is sometimes really exciting, because, you know, when you're kind of given the overall view and then you can just play. And when you can just play and go, and then if it doesn't work, they're like, okay, that, you know, too much or not enough, but sometimes I think, you know, and there are some situations where you really need kind of an intricate direction, like with Shakespeare. You really need some of that like focused direction, But I think that that sometimes so much focused direction can take away from the actor's process. Like if the actor has a process that they're doing and is, you know, trying to be organic, and if they're told, here, do it exactly this way, depending on what that actor's process is, it could totally throw them off and be like, oh, this is, you know, and then it can, depending on what their process is, it could feel almost like static. Mm-hmm.
Like they can't just feel and
yeah, they can't just feel. Yeah, exactly. You know, like there's some situations where like a line reading is, some people like that, and then there's some people where it's like if they have a thought process behind it and they're told to say a line a certain way, they can't put the thought process behind it because it's not organic. It's just they're just repeating. I've seen situations where like actors and directors are like scared of each other, where they don't want to talk to the other person, and I'm like, oh my gosh, talk, go, you know. So, and it's always so much more fun when you can when you can go up to a director and be like, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, it's like, don't be afraid of each other. You're gonna have so much more fun if you're like, you know, oh my gosh, it's a director, like I can't talk to you, or like, oh my god, I don't know how to talk to actors. And so, like, that would be the main thing, is, like, you know, like, for directors or actors, you know, if the actor's lost, like, I've had shows where I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and gone to the director and be like, what do you need? Because I have no idea what to do here. You know? Or if you do know what you're doing, you know, tell the director, be like, I think I understand this, you know, so let me know if it doesn't work. But I think that open communication is huge on figuring out what both of them need. Because it's really a team effort. Yeah. And I think that so often it's felt like two separate entities, when really it's like working together is, I think, important.